Stepping out over an abyss, this daredevil proves the best slacklining spots aren't always up a mountain. With a drop of more than 200 feet, this reservoir drain in Romania delivers the necessary fear factor. Secured by a harness, 31-year-old Flavu Serenescu crossed the pitch-black hole 8 times without a slip. He even took his unicycle for a spin around the rim. It seems this unassuming reservoir is actually a thrill-seeker's playground in disguise. Delicately placing one foot in front of the other, this daredevil is a picture of concentration. "25-year-old Mitch Kometa fixed a slackline across the mirrored green lake in Austria as he attempted to set a new waterline world record. Balancing a few metres above the water, Mitch, who held the previous record of 222 metres, spent several days planning and attempting to cross the majestic lake. After 20 attempts and several falls, he finally achieved the incredible feat, taking 19 minutes to complete the 250-metre crossing. He may have set a new waterline world record, but Mitch is already looking for the next challenge, and has set his sights on breaking the record by a further 10 metres in 2014. "57 skydivers link hands in an elaborate formation as they fall through the air at 180 miles per hour, setting a new world record. The world-class athletes leapt from 3 planes flying at 16,000 feet to complete the first ever 2.57 person vertical skydive of its kind. The falling group assembled in a predetermined formation, linking arms to create a stunning shape in the sky. The team separated and manoeuvred into a second formation, in an awe-inspiring stunt never before achieved. Once safely on the ground in Texas, USA, the divers were delighted to discover they'd secured a world first.
Your last skydive and a world record!
Whether leaping from great heights, pulling off dramatic acrobatic moves, or gracefully crossing the rooftops of Athens, Maria Raptaki demonstrates the skills that have made her one of the top female parkour professionals in the world.
What I really love in parkour is that there are no restrictions. You can train parkour absolutely everywhere, even if this is a forest or an urban environment or just an empty space. It's all about the creativity. I started training parkour when I was 22 years old. A couple of months after I started training, I put online a parkour video, and by that time there were not many women training. And after that, I started receiving professional offers internationally. The most breathtaking jump I ever had to do. It was for a commercial, and I had to jump from the 3rd floor of a building without any safety equipment and land on a mattress full of air. Fear gets weaker by time, and that's what parkour teaches the performer. What used to scare me in the very beginning, now it's gone. When I started training parkour, there were not other women training in Greece, so I was training among men. Nowadays, there are more and more women getting into parkour, and this is fascinating. It's very inspiring, and I can't wait to see where the female parkour community will go and how much it will grow.
"100 meters in the air, amid stunning Chinese scenery, German slackliner Alexander Schulz breaks the world highline record with an incredible 375-meter walk. While in China on a promotional trip, Alexander and his slacklining team, 1 Inch Dreams, decide to break the world highline record. This has recently been increased to 305 meters, and Alexander looks for somewhere he can attempt 350. The area they chose is known for its unique limestone rock formations, and they find a suitable spot between 2 imposing pillars. Rigging the highline is dangerous in itself, as they have to climb the rock faces.
It certainly doesn't look good.
And battle the vegetation. Once the line is set up, Alexander makes a few practice attempts, but fails each time. Returning a few days later in better weather, he's set to make one final attempt. All is going well, but he reaches 2/3 of the way across, and the wind begins to rise up, causing him problems with his balance. But he keeps going, and as he reaches the last 30 meters, the wind drops, and after 40 minutes of intense concentration and supreme balance, he completes his 375-meter world record, and he can't quite believe what he's achieved.
What? Is this real? I don't know.
This is the lethal combination of extreme skiing, skateboarding and parkour. And you seriously shouldn't try this at home. Americans Cam Riley and Clayton Villa from Colorado grew up on the slopes. But now they're pushing the limits of extreme skiing by bringing it to the car parks, alleyways and flyovers of their hometown. They make these amazing moves look simple, but things don't always go so well. It could have easily been a broken rib, but Clayton knows if he doesn't get back up, he'll never succeed. A drink of water, a moment to focus, and Clayton is taking the trick on again. His bravery pays off, and he nails it. And the danger is addictive, with an unlimited number of potential stunts on our streets, if you're brave enough to take them on. On the edge of a 2,000-foot sheer drop, this daredevil performs a breathtaking one-armed handstand, with no safety net between him and the fjord below. This is extreme balancing artist Eskil Runningsbakken, famed for his death-defying acrobatics that have seen him perform in over 100 countries and appear before millions on television around the world.
I've taken you to Preikestolen today. This is a pulpit rock which is 600 meters above the fjord, and it's a drop all the way down. So if you fall over the edge here, there is no way back.
To prepare for today's daring act, Eskil meditates on the cliff edge, visualizing every aspect of his performance.
The way I work is that I always envision an image before I undertake any kind of action. And this image follows me all through the working process. It's the drive behind everything I do. I want to create art, see a picture, see a dream coming true. And that means I see clearly where I want to go and what I want to do before I do anything. I start safe on the ground, move step by step until I reach the 600 meters or the 1,000 meters where my goal lies.
And then, using all his strength and concentration, Eskil removes one hand and executes the stunt to perfection. Two intrepid athletes take a leap of faith, plunging headfirst down a 75-foot waterfall. Whitewater kayaker Ben Maher and pro skier Rory Bushfield executed the death-defying stunt at the Marquand Falls in Squamish, Canada. Bushfield performed a gainer, a backflip whilst moving forward as Maher descended in his kayak. However, the stunt is not without danger. Just days earlier, a young man died after leaping into the waterfall.
Took the hit, it wasn't that bad. I rolled up immediately before I allowed any of the adrenaline to really pump out. We had to make sure that Rory didn't go into a cave. So we grabbed Rory, we pulled him out of there, and as soon as we got him around the corner and into a safer zone, then it was just everyone was laughing, and it was just such a cool moment because we pulled off a unique little stunt there. It all worked out and all of us were really stoked because it was just a cool moment.
Givraj Gurjar is a leading exponent of extreme yoga. He can hold 45 different positions while balancing on a BMX bike.
ये दिमाग का काम है सब, बॉडी इसमें कुछ नहीं करती, बॉडी बैलेंस करती है, पर दिमाग आपका अगर स्थिर हो तो आप कहीं भी कर सकते हो, दिमाग आपका बैलेंस रखता है बॉडी का.
And to add to the difficulty, the 68-year-old performs his workout for an hour every day in the mountains overlooking his home city of Jodhpur, balancing inches from a sheer drop.
मैं जब साइकिल पर बैलेंस या योगा करता हूँ तो मुझे ये पहाड़ या कोई डेयरिंग नज़र नहीं आता है कि मैं गिर जाऊँगा या ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ उसके ऊपर, डर नाम का कुछ नहीं।
Kiv started yoga aged 12. He was also a cycling champion, so it's only a matter of time until he combined his love of yoga with his bike. He now teaches his own special brand of power yoga, and his students are finding it harder than they imagined.
Whenever I saw Mr. Kiv Rajguru doing all those stunts on the bike, I thought it's something I can do easily, but when I went there to perform it, I know it's not something easy. It's only a man's job, not for a boy like me.
And although they haven't yet tried it in the mountains, they approve of Kiv's adventurous spirit.
Obviously बहुत रिस्की है, लेकिन स्टंट तो करना ही पड़ता है। आगे बढ़ने के लिए कुछ ना कुछ तो होना ही चाहिए।
Although he hasn't had an injury in over 20 years, after losing his son, wife and grandson in a road accident in 2014, his family are now equally as worried as they are proud of him.
पहले तो कुछ नहीं था, अभी थोड़ा लगता है उनको कि अगर इसका कुछ हो जाएगा तो सबको नुकसान हो सकता है, और मुझे नहीं लगता कि कुछ होगा।
I feel a bit scared when my grandfather performs these stunts. At that moment, I also feel proud because I think that he's a source of inspiration for me, and he's my ideal. Having a grandfather who performs stunts on mountains is like having an in-house superhero.
And as Kiv continues to perform his daily ritual, his family aren't the only ones who are impressed.
इनका नाम पूरे वर्ल्ड में है और इनसे हम भी पूरे जोधपुर वासी इनसे इंस्पायर है और बहुत अच्छा लगा आज ये देख के।
Performing daring front flips and a range of gravity-defying tricks on a unicycle, Max Schulz demonstrates the skills that have made him several times world champion. Now 23, Max started in the sport aged 13 when he bought his dad a unicycle for Father's Day and ended up using it himself. Constantly pushing the boundaries of what a unicycle can do. In urban areas and off-road, Max is famous for his front flips and incredible online videos. And having only one wheel and no brakes is no obstacle to him pulling off the kinds of tricks you'd expect to see on a skateboard or a BMX. Battling wind and spray, this adventurous pair of slackliners fulfil a long-held dream by becoming the first to ever walk a line across the Victoria Falls Gorge. Lucas Imler and Reinhard Kindle took more than 2 years to plan their trip to Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe.
Well, as a slackliner, we're always looking for new spots to transfer our sport into, and seeing pictures from the Victoria Falls, it was definitely the biggest and best waterfall I've ever seen. So I couldn't wait to actually come here, see the place, and eventually rig a slackline and walk in front of it.
But their first challenges would come before they'd even set foot in Africa.
On a place like this, in a nature reserve, it's really hard to convince the authorities also that you know what you're doing, that you don't do any damage, and that it's safe what you do. So that was a big challenge to convince the people here that we can do this.
And it's really cool to have the trust that we allowed to do this.
On reaching their crossing point, first they had to bridge the 100-metre wide gorge using lead weight, fishing line and a large slingshot.
The one side of the Highline is directly situated in the national park here. The other side is situated on the Zambezi River. It's directly on the falls where pretty much nobody can actually get there. There's only one guy driving a boat down there, and so for us it was a big adventure on the one side. And on the other side we were facing like a bunch of people waiting, cheering for us when we actually get off the line. So yeah, it's a connection in between two worlds, tourism and the adventurous countryside. So that was very special for us as well.
With everything set, the friends toss a coin to decide who will attempt the crossing first. Kindle wins and steps out onto the line. The conditions are tough. Wind and spray impair his vision and shake the line.
Optically it's difficult because the spray comes from the side, and these it's like waves. They try to drag you, and obviously the webbing is very heavy because it's soaked with water.
He falls several times as Lucas looks on anxiously. But eventually makes it to the other side. Next it is Lucas's turn.
The very special thing about slacklining is that it's a dynamic balance. It's not a tight rope, it's not something which is fixed or like stable. It's a dynamic webbing which is movable in every direction. So it's a great challenge to find your way, find the way of the swing and find the balance on it to finally walk it and cross it.
He makes the crossing look easy, even stopping to perform a balancing trick halfway across, to the delight of the gathering crowd.
In slacklining we call it ascent, when you actually walk the line from one anchor point to the other without a fall. And I managed to send it in both directions. So that was pretty much the reason why we came here. It was incredible, and the best feeling was that Reini walked it shortly afterwards, so we both could share the scent again.
With their dream achieved, the two friends can celebrate.
We had a lot of challenges along the way, and we managed to face them all. And being here, walking the line finally, it's just the best reward you can get.
But Lucas knows it's not just an achievement for himself and Reinhard.
Yeah, it's very important to have a good team to do something big like this. It's not possible to do it on your own, and especially as a slackliner you at least need a second slackliner doing the other anchor, helping you with all the stuff. And finally it's also very important to have someone supporting you mentally and physically on the spot. So you need a good friend to do something like this, and Reini is for sure the best friend I could ever have for it.